EDF, and in the General Appropriations Bill, we provided that 7.82 billion pesos of that would have to go towards the payment of deficiency to SUCs. And on top of that, nagdagdag po tayo ng 4.4 billion pesos para po mabuo natin yung 12 billion pesos. So, lahat po ng 114 state universities at colleges sa buong bansa ay makakatanggap po, magbebenepisyo po dito. And ano po yung implication na to? This is the first year since UACTE was passed in 2017 that it will be fully funded. Medyo nakakagulat po yun, pero yun po yung realidad. At bukod pa po doon, hindi lang natin pupunan yung kakulangan nung nakaraan, kundi naglagay din po tayo ng paraan na hindi na po magkakaroon ulit ng ganong deficiency. Kasi po, inayos na din po natin yung sistema sa pagitan ng CHED, sa pagitan ng mga SUCs at ng DBM para po hindi na magkaroon ng discrepancy doon po sa expected number of enrollees as assumed in the funding in the General Appropriations Bill versus yung actual number of enrollees po ng kabataan. Ano po yung ibig sabihin nito sa mga paaralan? Ibig sabihin po, magagamit nila itong ibabayad sa kanila para po makapagpagawa ng mga infrastruktura, mas mapaganda po yung kanilang operasyon. Yun naman po kasi talaga yung kanilang hinihintay. Lastly, with the additional 13.8 billion pesos approved by the House of Representatives towards UACTE, CHED, and TESDA, ang total na po ng scholarships would be 52.2 billion pesos. And that would translate to scholarships for up to 2.49 million students across the country. So, yun po. Just wanted to highlight that. Ito po yung mga main highlights ng ating education budget para po sa taong 2026. Next slide, please. Similarly, the health sector budget totaling 411.2 billion pesos, including the 90 billion pesos added by the House of Representatives, would translate to the following. Una po, ang total PhilHealth subsidy po para sa taong 2026 ay maging 113 billion pesos. Dinagdagan po natin ng 60 billion pesos mula po sa ating mga amyenda dito sa House of Representatives. At yun po yung ating malaking tinalakay na sana po magamit po ng PhilHealth itong kadagdagang subsidiya para po mas mapaganda yung benefits package, mas mapalawak yung benepisyo na matatanggap ng mga pasyente, mabawasan yung direct contributions ng mga direct contributors at mabayaran po yung mga obligasyon ng PhilHealth sa mga ospital. Second, we were able to add 25 billion pesos rather for MAIFIP. Ano po yung ibig sabihin nito? Ang total po ng amount ng MAIFIP para sa taong 2026 ay maging 49.2 billion pesos. And that would enable us to actualize the zero balance billing in government hospitals. Napakahalaga po ng papel na gagampanan ng MAIFIP para po wala na pong babayaran yung ating mga kababayan sa mga pampublikong ospital, lalo na po para sa ating mga indigent na mga kababayan. At panghuli po, nagdagdag po tayo ng 5.7 billion para po sa HFEP or Health Facilities Enhancement Program. At ang katumbas po nito para sa taong 2026 ay magkakaroon po tayo ng 27.9 billion pesos para po sa pagpapagawa ng iba't ibang mga ospital at iba't ibang mga gusaling pangkalusugan. Next, please. Next would be the agriculture budget. The agriculture budget would now total to 292.9 billion pesos, including the 90 billion pesos added by the House of Representatives. So some key highlights po. The first would be the 10 billion pesos that would be allocated towards the presidential assistance for farmers and fisher folk. Ang katumbas po nito, gamit po yung kasalukuyang guideline na 7,000 pesos bawat benepisyaryo. Ang katumbas po nito ay mabibigyan po ng tulong ang higit 1.4 million na mga farmers at mga fisher folk, mga magsasaka at mga mangingisda sa ating buong bansa. Pangalawa po, another key highlight would be the total of 74.5 billion pesos allocated towards different farm-to-market roads and irrigation infrastructure. So that includes the 35.5 billion pesos added by the House of Representatives. At alam naman po natin yung napakamahalagang papel na ginagampatan po ng mga farm-to-market road at mga irigasyon para po matulungan yung ating mga magsasaka na mas mapababa yung kanilang ginagastos sa pagsasaka dahil po mas mura yung binabayaran nila para po maiangkat, makuha po yung yung mga kanilang sinasaka o inaani mula po sa kanilang mga palayan. Sunod po, nakapaloob po sa General Appropriations Bill ang 30 billion pesos para sa Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Ibig sabihin po may karagdagang 30 billion pesos para po makapagbigay ng mga makinarya, binhi, training, pautang, insurance, irigasyon, at iba pang suporta para po sa ating mga mahal na mga magsasaka. Sunod po, nagbigay po tayo ng karagdagang 4.3 billion pesos sa NFA para po makabili po sila ng karagdagang post-harvest facilities at mga truck. Muli, gusto po natin na paigtingin yung pagbili ng NFA ng mga palay mula po sa ating mga magsasaka dahil mas nabibili nila sa mas mataas na presyo yung palay ng ating mga magsasaka. Sunod po, nagbigay po tayo ng karagdagang 1 billion pesos para sa crop insurance. So para po matulungan yung ating mga magsasaka, lalo na po sa panahon ng kalamidad, para po meron silang insurance na pwede pong masandigan. Sunod po, we added 2.4 billion pesos towards the construction of different deep water ports for agri-industrial products and an additional 200 million pesos for the land tenure security program, particularly for agrarian reform beneficiaries. So, kalaki po ito ng New Agrarian Emancipation Act na naisabatas po ilang taon na yung nakadadaan. Next, please. And something that we would like to really highlight is how the House worked very, very hard to do all of these in the midst of implementing reforms. Sweeping reforms po, hindi lang mga maliliit na reforma. Binago po natin yung maraming mga proseso na ilang dekada na nandoon. Kaya it was doubly hard for us to be able to pass the budget. We had to work very, very hard to pass the budget on time in the midst of all of these reforms. Pero ginawa po yan ng inyong Kongreso dahil po sa aming pangako sa ating mga kababayan na gagawin po nating bukas, gagawin po nating transparent, gagawin po nating participative ang budget process para sa taong 2026 at sa mga susunod na taon. Ano-ano po yung mga reforma na ating ginawa? First, we have abolished the small committee. So the small committee, it has now been replaced by the open and the transparent Budget Amendments Review Subcommittee. Institutional amendments were deliberated on by the BARC, and the roughly 20 hours of deliberations were all live streamed. And during all of those deliberations, we showed the public line by line where every peso of the amendments went. Saan pong mga departamento, saang mga programa. Second, budget deliberations were made open and transparent. All committee hearings, plenary deliberations, and BARC deliberations were all live streamed across different platforms, Facebook, and YouTube. Engagement with CSOs, accredited civil society organizations were invited to deliberations. We conducted the first ever People's Budget Review. Civil society organizations were allowed to field questions to the agencies through the vice chairpersons of the Committee on Appropriations, and their inputs were also incorporated in the budget. A lot of the suggestions of the CSOs, especially those pertaining to education, special education programs, to transportation and agriculture, were incorporated into the budget. All amendments were incorporated before the second reading approval. Napakahalaga po nito dahil ito po ay constitutional requirement. At talaga pong sinundan natin yung constitutional requirement na pagkatapos po ng approval on second reading, wala na pong pinayagan na ibang amyenda na ipasok. Also, for the first time in recent history, the period of individual amendments rather, were opened to all House members. All members were also provided copies of the second reading version and the third reading version of the General Appropriations Bill before each respective voting periods. So, yun po, ito po yung mga mahalagang reforma na atin pong ginawa sa loob po ng 20th Congress. Next, please. Ito po, gusto ko pong talakayin ito ngayong araw kasi alam ko po karamihan ng usapin nitong mga nakaraang linggo ay nakasentro sa usapin ng unprogrammed appropriations. So tulad po ng aking ipinangako patungkol sa iba't ibang aspeto ng budget, gusto ko din pong buksan yung tabing sa unprogrammed appropriations. Ang pakiramdam ko po kasi, at yun po ay aking palagay, isa po sa mga dahilan kung bakit nagkakaroon ng ganitong usapin pagdating sa unprogrammed appropriations, ay meron po kasing uncertainty with regard to the contents of unprogrammed appropriations. So today, I would like to go through the different items within unprogrammed appropriations as well as the breakdown para po makita po natin ano po ba talaga yung laman ng unprogrammed appropriations. Pero bago po tayo pumunta dyan, ano po ba ang unprogrammed appropriations? I know this has been said a lot of times over the past few weeks, but unprogrammed appropriations is a standby appropriation duly authorized and approved by Congress in the General Appropriations Act. Standby appropriations lang po ito. Hindi po ito nakapaloob doon sa 6.793 trillion pesos na budget, na national budget na atin pong inaaprubahan. If you would want to look at it from a different lens, there is currently no funding for unprogrammed appropriations. Wala pong parte ng ating buwis sa 6.793 trillion pesos ang napupunta sa unprogrammed appropriations sa kasalukuyang forma ng General Appropriations Bill. And when can you actually fund unprogrammed appropriations? Mapopondohan lang po ang unprogrammed appropriations kung meron pong sobra o kadagdagang kita ang ating gobyerno sa taong 2026 o kung meron pong panibagong loan agreements na ating pong mafa-finalize kasama po ang ating development partners, particular po sa foreign assisted projects. So, yun po siguro muna. Lagi po kasing sinasabi na malaking porsyento ng 6.7 trillion ay napupunta sa unprogrammed appropriations. Hindi po tama yun. Sa katunayan po, walang parte ng 6.7 trillion pesos ang kasalukuyang mapupunta sa unprogrammed appropriations. So, very important for us to align on that po. Ibig sabihin po, kung walang dagdag nakita ang gobyerno, wala pong mapopondohan sa unprogrammed appropriations. Yung 200... Oh, where are the amounts? Where did the amounts go? Can you fill it in? Sorry po, may na-delete lang po doon sa slide. Yung amounts. Can I edit it directly? I'll edit it directly. Sorry po. May... Sorry about that. Na-delete lang po. Meron po actually sa ilalim comparison po ng total amount for unprogrammed appropriations sa 2025 versus 2026. Sige po. Pasensya na po, na-delete po. Pero nung 2025 po, ang total amount po ng unprogrammed appropriations was 363.4 billion pesos. Kumpara po sa kasalukuyang level ng unprogrammed appropriations na 243.2 billion pesos. So kung titignan po natin, nagkaroon po ng pagbaba sa total amount for unprogrammed appropriations, that would be 120.2 billion pesos reduction for unprogrammed appropriations from 2025 to 2026. Ayan na po, handa na po. Sorry, na-delete lang. Ayan po, there you go. Sorry po, that was the original version of the slide. So dito po sa ilalim, mahalaga po na bigyan natin ng diin na bumaba po yung total amount. The total amount for unprogrammed appropriations decreased from 2025 to 2026. From the 2025 level of 363.4 billion pesos, the amount for unprogrammed appropriations decreased by 120 billion pesos to the current 2026 level of 243.2 billion pesos. So yun po, malaki po yung tinanggal sa unprogrammed appropriations sa kasalukuyang version ng General Appropriations Bill. Next, please. Ayun po, medyo maliit but will provide copies to everyone of the components. Siguro po isa sa mga hindi natatalakay sa usapin ng unprogrammed appropriations ay ano po ba yung nakapaloob sa unprogrammed appropriations. Sa katunayan po, meron pong 11 na purposes sa loob ng unprogrammed appropriations. What's happening? Sorry po. Technical difficulties. Ayan po. Ito po yung 11 na nakapaloob sa unprogrammed appropriations. Under unprogrammed appropriations, we are authorizing 11 purposes for how unprogrammed appropriations can be spent in the 2026 budget. Naglulose yung wire eh. Ayan po. Ano po yung laman ng unprogrammed appropriations? The first would be strengthening assistance for social programs. Ito po yung controversial na dating tinatawag na SAGIP. Ngayon po, tinanggal na po natin yung letter I. We are now disallowing infrastructure from being disbursed from what was previously known as SAGIP. I'll project na lang, Jo. How do I? Pasensya na po. Sorry. I'll project from my iPad. Ayun po, ako na magko-control. Mukhang mas gagana siya ng ganito. Ayan po. So, ito po yung dating tinatawag na SAGIP. At mahalaga po na bigyan natin ng diin na ngayon po, alam ko po kasi yung mga napag-usapan na dito po sa una, yung dating tinatawag na SAGIP, dyan po nabatak yung flood control projects ng mga nakaraang taon. And at para po sa taong 2026, gusto po nating siguraduhin na hindi po maaabuso ang unprogrammed appropriations. At dahil po doon, atin na pong tinanggal ang infrastruktura mula doon sa dating sagip. Ngayon po, ang tawag na lang po sa kanya ay Strengthening Assistance for Social Programs. Mamaya po, ipapakita po natin kung ano yung nakapaloob sa Strengthening Assistance for Social Programs. Kung makikita po natin dito, malinaw po na detalye yung mga iba't ibang mga pwedeng paggamitan ng unprogrammed appropriations at kung magkano po yung pwedeng batakin mula dito. Ibig sabihin po, para lang po bigyan ng linaw, currently, these are not funded in the GAB. These are the standby appropriations that can be funded if excess revenues become available. So ano po yung mga iba pang mga purpose na pwede po nating pondohan sa loob po ng unprogrammed appropriations? The second purpose would be budgetary support to government-owned and/or controlled corporations, and this pertains to conversion into subsidy of national government advances of loan obligations of GOCCs. The third would be the third and the fourth, we have to take them both together. Ito na po yung nakasentro din sa mga usapin ng mga nakarang araw. Ito po yung foreign assisted projects o yung FAPs. In total, the total amount for Purpose 3 and Purpose 4 is 97.3 billion plus 35 billion pesos. So this would total 133 billion pesos for foreign assisted projects. Mamaya po ipapaliwanag ko din po yan sa mas malalim na detalye. Fifth would be the program on risk management. So these cover the commitments and obligations of our government towards public-private partnership programs or PPPs. The sixth would be the refund of the service development fee for the right to develop the Nampei Dai property in Tokyo, Japan. Very specific use po. As you can see, that cannot be dispersed for anything else. Seventh would be prior year's LGU share. So that would be the share of LGUs in the 2% special privilege tax. Number 8 would be the revised AFP modernization, and this takes up a huge chunk of the unprogrammed appropriations. 50 billion pesos po sa 210 billion pesos na nasa unprogrammed appropriations ay naka-standby para po sa AFP modernization. Bakit po? Dahil po sa AFP modernization law, bawat taon po actually, ideally, ang nakapondo para sa AFP modernization would be over 100 billion pesos. But given the limited fiscal space, we are only able to program within the budget of the DND roughly 40 billion pesos for AFP modernization. Kaya po tayo nag-aabang ng kadagdagang 50 billion pesos para sa AFP modernization dahil hindi po sapat yung pag-rehabilitate at pag-ensure ng mga government assets kung meron pong mga ganong klaseng kalamidad. So here, we'll do a deep dive on the first purpose, which is the sagip. Hindi na po sagip yung tawag ngayon. Bakit ko po gustong bigyang din ito? Dahil dito po nakasentro lahat po ng mga katanungan patungkol sa unprogrammed appropriations. Again, I would like to reiterate that we have removed infrastructure from the allowable disbursements under Purpose 1. Tinanggal na po ng Kongreso ang infrastruktura sa listahan ng mga pwedeng paggamitan ng unprogrammed appropriations, particular sa dating sagip. Ito po ay hakbang ng Kongreso laban sa posibleng pang-aabuso ng unprogrammed appropriations. The previous sagip, I standing for infrastructure, would now be known as Strengthening Assistance for Social Programs, and only government social programs geared towards education, health, and social protection would be allowed. Very, very important point po. Wala na pong pwedeng flood control projects, wala na pong pwedeng mga kalsada o mga tulay na pwedeng batakin mula sa Strengthening Assistance for Social Programs. So just to be very, very transparent about it, meron din pong breakdown sa loob ng Special Purpose 1. Siguro po kasi, nakita ko po sa ilang pagtatalakay na unprogrammed appropriations, iniisip po kasi ng ilan na lump sum funds yung unprogrammed appropriations. Hindi po totoo ito. Sapagkat meron pong naka-line item na mga programa at mga purpose sa ilalim po ng unprogrammed appropriations. And here I would like to highlight the purposes or the projects intended under Special Purpose 1. Makikita po natin dito, meron lang po, technically, merong infrastruktura dito. Kung makikita nyo po sa ilalim ng DepEd, meron pong naka-standby para sa Basic Education Facilities Program at Public Schools Infrastructure Program. So, technically, meron pong infrastructure, pero ang pwede lang po dyan ay mga school buildings. So, just to do a deep dive, ano po yung laman ng bagong strengthening assistance for social programs that total 45 billion pesos. So, first, as you would see, there would be the payment of SSS loans. So that's 3.3 billion pesos. For CHED, the competitive grant mechanism for state universities and colleges would amount to 2 billion pesos. For PhilHealth, there is an additional 21.1 billion pesos on standby. Again, why is this the case? Even at 113 billion pesos, posible po kasing kulang pa rin yung binibigay natin sa PhilHealth. So, in case there would be excess revenues, we are putting roughly 21 billion pesos on standby for additional subsidies to PhilHealth. Here, bukod po doon sa education program or education budget na nakaprogram kanina, meron din pong kadagdagang 7.8 billion pesos na nakaabang para sa DepEd. Actually, hindi lang po 7.8 kasi po 7.8 billion plus 450 million plus 13 million. So, roughly 8.2 billion pesos on standby for DepEd. Makikita nyo po dyan, iba-ibang programa po yan. School-based feeding program, textbooks and other instructional materials, basic education facilities, public infrastructure, public schools infrastructure program, physical fitness and school sports, and basic education curriculum. Meron din po nakaabang para po sa DOLE TESDA. There is 2.3 billion pesos on standby for the scholarship program for eligible incumbent child development workers, including UACTE requirements. There is also 1.3 billion pesos on standby for the requirements for hospital equipment and other facilities, and 6.5 billion pesos on standby for AICS under DSWD. Siguro po gusto ko pong bigyang diin ito dahil ngayon pong 2025, nagamit po natin yung AICS na nakapaloob sa unprogrammed appropriations. Nung tumama po yung lindol at mga bagyo sa Masbate, Cebu at Davao, kinailangan po nating bumatak ng 5 billion pesos mula sa unprogrammed appropriations para sa AICS, para po makapagbigay ng kadagdagan tugon dun po sa mga nasalanta ng kalamidad. And maybe that's a really good illustration of how unprogrammed appropriations can help the government operationalize. Kung wala pong unprogrammed appropriations na nakaabang para sa AICS, wala pong agarang tulong na mailalabas ang DSWD para sa mga nasalanta ng bagyo at ng kalamidad at ng lindol dahil ubos na po yung AICS na nakaprogram sa ilalim ng DSWD. So that's a really good illustration of how unprogrammed appropriations can help the government and the Filipino people. Next, yun po yung unang purpose. Ito po yung foreign assisted projects under unprogrammed appropriations. I think both the House and the Senate were very clear on this, that we would need to retain the funding for foreign assisted projects under unprogrammed appropriations. And why is that so? Infrastructure projects lodged under DPWH and DOTR will only be allowed if these are foreign assisted projects or FAPs. FAPs are projects funded by partner countries such as JICA, the French ODA, multilateral bodies or other international entities such as the World Bank, Asian Development Bank. And we need to retain the funding for FAPs because we cannot renege on our obligations and agreements to our development and international partners. Hindi po kasi pwede na kapag meron tayong commitment sa ating sa international na level, hindi po natin basta-bastang pwedeng talikuran yon. Kaya kailangan po nating pondohan yung FAPS. Here, the total of for FAPS, a combination of a combination of Purpose 3 and Purpose 4, as highlighted a while ago, under unprogrammed appropriations, total to 133.1 billion pesos. And FAPS account for 54.7% of the total 243 billion pesos under unprogrammed appropriations. So makikita niyo po, ano po yung, saan po napupunta yung majority ng unprogrammed appropriations? Tatlo po yun. Sa ilalim po ng FAPS, higit kalahati. Pangalawa po sa AFP modernization, roughly 25%, 20%, 50 billion pesos. At pangatlo po, doon po sa unang programa, yung pinakita ko po kanina, yung strengthening assistance for social programs, totaling 45 billion pesos. So yun po yung tatlong pinakamalalaki na laman ng unprogrammed appropriations. Last slide, this is the last slide of the whole presentation, just to show the breakdown of FAPS by category. Out of the 133 billion pesos under FAPS, ito po yung breakdown. Siguro po importante po na mapakita kung saan po napupunta to. Meron po kasing mga katatungan na bakit hindi na lang ilagay sa programmed appropriations ang lahat ng foreign assisted projects. Yun po ay dahil sa panahon na binubuo pa lang yung budget, during the budget preparation stage, the requirements needed for it to go into programmed appropriations were not satisfied for these projects. For example po, there are two requirements for it to go into programmed appropriations. First is it would require a perfected contract or perfected agreement between the Philippines and our international partners. And second, that particular perfected contract would need to be approved by the NEDA board. So yun lang po yung dahilan. As much as we would like to put all of the foreign assisted projects under programmed appropriations, meron po kasing mga proyekto na mahahalaga na hindi po umabot doon. At ito po yun. Una, yung 36.7% po, yun po yung binanggit ko. These are the FAPs currently under negotiation. So, out of the 133 billion, 48 billion po yun. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa pinal yung kasunduan sa pagitan ng Pilipinas at ng ating international partners. Second, the newly approved loans. I put that separate because when the NEP was finalized in July, these two projects under DSWD and DOH were still not finalized. And as of October 7, these two projects already have perfected agreements. That's why we put it separate. And the total for that would be 38 billion pesos. And lastly, this is very interesting. 45 billion under FAPS are additional Tier 2 requirements of ongoing foreign assisted projects under DOTR. Ano po yung ibig sabihin nito? Ito pong 45.8 billion pesos na to, meron silang counterpart sa loob ng programmed appropriations ng DOTR. Pero dahil po, sa palagay po ng DBM, ang kanila pong assessment ay hindi po mauubos ng DOTR yung kabuuan ng pondo na yon. So halimbawa po, I'm using the numbers loosely, but just as an example, the Metro Manila Subway Project, for example po, 100 billion po yung kailangan sa project na yon. So ideally, you would put the whole 100 billion under programmed appropriations. But given the historically low utilization rate for the Metro Manila Subway project, sayang naman po kung ibibigay natin yung buong 100 billion pesos doon sa programa na yon nang hindi naman mauubos ng DOTR. So ang ginawa po ng DBM, imbis na ibigay yung buong 100 billion pesos, binigay nila yung kalahati. Halimbawa lang po to, hindi ko po maalala yung mismong numero, pero binigay nila yung kalahati under Tier 1. para po yung kalahati, yung 50 billion pesos na kalahati, ay pwede nilang mailagay sa ibang mga departamento at ibang mga programa na talagang kailangan ng ating bansa. Ano po yung nangyari doon sa 50 billion pesos na natira na kailangan sana ipasok sa Metro Manila Subway Project? Linagay po sa unprogrammed appropriations. Para kung magkaroon ng pagkakataon na mauubos po ng DOTR yung 50 billion pesos na unang nailagay sa ilalim na unprogrammed appropriations, pwede pong bumatak sa unprogrammed appropriations. So, yun po. Hindi po totoo na yung mga programa sa ilalim ng unprogrammed appropriations ay walang counterpart o walang katumbas na line item sa programmed appropriations. There are instances wherein there are counterpart projects under the programmed appropriations, but DBM elected to separate the two in order to allocate resources towards programs and projects that are more urgently needed by our country. So, yun lang po. A little bit, my apologies po, it's a little bit technical, but it's really important po to be able to dissect the contents of unprogrammed appropriation. So, that's it. That would be my presentation po. Yun po yung kabuuan ng ating budget para sa taong 2026. Again, if there are key highlights that I'm hoping to share, that would be that one, this is the highest budget sector, this is the highest education budget in our country's history. And second, we have focused a lot of resources towards health. And third, we have focused a lot of resources towards agriculture. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat po. And I would now like to open the floor to questions from our friends in the media.